Okay. Says I should be live. Am I live yet? Does anybody see me yet out there? I'm not even on my channel yet because I forgot to go ahead and open up the window on my phone. And I like to go ahead and have my video playing on my phone so I can make sure that it's going properly. I don't want it to be one of those things where I get really heavy into the discussion and I'm not even on the screen. That's happened before. So I'm going to wait and make sure that we're up on the screen, even though it's been about 40 seconds and I still don't see me on the screen. I see just a blank StreamYard screen. And it says, it doesn't even say how long I've been on my YouTube. So I'm just waiting for it to actually do right. Al Davis is here and says, turn on your lights, dude. Well, I assure you my lights are on. There we go. There we go. There it is. So I'm up there now. I'm sure you see me up there now. All right. How we doing today? Today, I'm going to open up Teela from the 2000X cartoon collection. This should be a lot of fun. And I went ahead and got out of my storage. I got the original 2000X Teela figure so we can do some comparing and some contrasting. And this is going to be a figure that's going to be quite different from that original figure since they did make some changes to her coloring for this show. So that should be, excuse me, that should be interesting to talk about. So, and then I've also got from this same assortment, I have all three of these figures now because I did manage to get Orko on sale on Amazon recently. So we got Teela, we got Orko, and we got Merman. So I'm going to open up all three of these in the next few episodes. However, those wind up getting spaced out. So yeah, Teela, the heroic warrior goddess, as seen on The Ties That Bind, and then we see Teela facing off against a dragon. Ram Man is there giving him head, and Mechaneck is up there giving him neck. I don't know. Bobby Wald says, does it have articulation of the Origins or the Masterverse? I'm guessing Origins because it is an Origins figure. But it might have some extra articulation to it. Who knows? We'll find out when we open her up. And then Al Davis and Bobby both say hi to each other. So there we go. All right. So the artwork on the back is quite nice. You got the sorceress up there too. And any other details that I'm missing? Got a couple of moons in the background. It says she holds her staff. Wow. Congratulations. Bobby, Al Davis asked Bobby, you mean, is it from Christmas past or Christmas present? So I think I missed something. I don't know. I might have missed something. I don't see it now. And Lone Dragon is here. Yeah, open her box. She's a naughty girl, he says. And Al Davis says she has her staff to hold. Yeah, well, I mean, like if we're being serious, isn't holding your weapon the bare minimum you want an action figure to do with their accessory? But yeah, she has her snake staff as Teela usually comes with a snake staff. She does not have a sword, which very much disappoints me. I think that she should have had a sword. But let's go ahead and open her up. This should be fun. And when I first saw the digital renders of this figure, I wasn't really too impressed with the face. I thought that they could have done a better job with the face when I saw the digital render. But when I started to see pictures of the actual in-hand figure, and when I got the figure in person myself, then I was a little more impressed with it. I think that she looks a little bit better in real life than she does in the digital render, which I much prefer than the other way around, where you see a digital render and it looks really nice, and then you get it in person and it kind of looks like crap. If those are my only two options, yeah, I will take that option gladly. So go ahead and put that back in there. I'll toss this in my recycling later. So here she is out of the box, And you can see that she's got that kind of teal color on her shoulders. She's got a gray belt, and she's got some gray detailing on her boots. Whereas if you look at the original figure, it's pretty much all gold. All that stuff is gold. And she's actually a little shorter than a little smaller than her 2000X counterpart, which is strange because this is actually like I think most of these figures wound up being a little larger, but not Teela. She wound up being smaller than her 2000X counterpart. Kind of strange. So yeah, and it looks like this is a rubber piece that can be removed if you wish to. I'm not going to do it on this show because it just seems like it would be a lot of work. But I think that technically it can be removed. You'd probably want to heat it up with a hairdryer or something if you want to do it. And Amiga Cami is here and says, "Hi, Alan. Hi, Al. Hi, Bobby." Well, hi to you too, Cami. 2,000 eggs, says Lone Dragon. I could go for some eggs right now. I don't know if I need 2,000 of them. But yeah, it's the 2000X line. I know you don't care for that term, but that's what it's called. I mean, not much I can do about it. I don't own Mattel yet, so they haven't consulted me on the matter. Take it off. You really want to see it? Well, like I said, I think I can get it off, but I would want to heat it up with a hairdryer or something first to make sure I don't stretch it too far out of shape. But I will take a little bit of a peek under there, and it looks like she's got like an entirely painted white bodice underneath. Like, I'll see if I can. Can you see that at all? Like the white paint on there. So I'm guessing like her whole chest, where we can't see it, is probably painted white. I don't know about underneath her shoulders. We'll try to take a look. Yeah, it looks like she's got like a strapless corset type thing. I might can get it off actually. Let's go ahead and get it off. It's easier than I thought. I thought it was going to be a little more difficult, but it does open up fairly easily. So yeah, she's got this kind of little white tube top looking thing underneath, and it did get a little bit of paint rub, like not quite where her nipple is. But they do this sort of thing for when the boys take it apart, and that way she retains a little bit of her modesty. That way boys aren't running around with like a topless girl action figure when they're a little too young for that sort of thing. You got to wait till you're older when you actually pull a shirt off of a young lady and enjoy it that way. But yeah, I was able to get it off and on fairly easily, and you can see there's no real damage to it, no cracks in the paint or anything like that. So that's good for those of us who like to customize, because that means that she's a little more flexible as far as that goes. She's got a little bit more potential. I like it when you can take as much off of these figures as possible, so that way you can actually have as bare base of a figure as you can, so you don't have to sand a lot of stuff off. By the way, here's what she looks like without the skirt, and it's just a fairly ordinary molded pelvis. She's got a little bit of a belly button right there, which is kind of interesting, and definitely reminds me of Filmation Teela in certain ways. And the skirt is all gold. If you look at the original one, it did have some parts of it that were white. But honestly, I kind of feel like there's so little of it that's white, they might as well just have it entirely gold. And then it's got a gray belt, which is what she had on the cartoon. Like I said, this is supposed to look like what Teela looked like on the cartoon. It's not supposed to be based on that original figure so much as it's based on the cartoon appearance, which was supposed to be based on the original figure, but they took a bunch of liberties for whatever reason. Lone Dragon says, Mattel only made one thing recently that I wanted to buy that made me get up early and wait 10 minutes in line to not sell me a Jim Skeletor. Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm really sorry. So Al Davis says, by Toy Story for real, I meant the toys are alive, like a ginger without a soul, not meaning that an actual inanimate trash gains sentience or something. Oh, geez. And then Al Davis, Lone Dragon says to Al Davis, so you admit to being Al? I don't talk to robots. Well, sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not really a robot that I know of, but I could be like some kind of advanced model that, we don't even know about yet. And I'm not even aware that I'm a robot. We could all be robots. It could all be a simulation. How about that? Al Davis says that, that's probably AI. Man, we're just going to have to start putting a little serif at the bottom of lowercase L's or something. That's confusing. Lone Dragon says that AI and Al Davis is short for Alistair. My middle name, artificial intelligence. So, but yeah, maybe we're all artificial intelligence in actuality, and we just don't know it. But then she's got kind of the dark red boots that we typically see on Teela, whereas the original 2000X had regular brown boots, which is, matches up with He-Man's boots, much like how our boots matched up with He-Man in the original line. And one thing that does disappoint me a little bit about this is I kind of hoped that her ponytail would be posable. It's not at all. And they did do a really good job at matching her hairstyle on the show with the long ponytail. Now, she's got these kind of teal portions here, and those are something that teal hasn't ever really been a Teela color. I know her name is Teela, but it's not supposed to be like T-A-L, it's T-E-E-L, so it's not supposed to be like the color. But that was because the sorceress had that color on her costume, and they wanted to give a visual connection between the secret mother and the secret daughter, and give you a little bit of a clue there. So that's why they did that. And she's got a little bit of a smirk on her face. Like I said, I didn't really care for the digital render when I saw it, but I think once they had it going in real life, that the actual molded figure looks great, I think. So I'm really impressed with that. So, and Amiga Cami says, I'm pissed that I missed out on Jim Bro Skeletor too. Well, I'm sorry, Amiga Cami. So I think I'm just going to make my own. I think that would be a fairly easy figure to make. I'm going to make an origin style one. I actually ordered when they had it up for pre-order on Target recently. They might still have it up. The Origins movie Skeletor. I ordered 2 of them, and I figured I could make a hoodie for one of them. And Lone Dragon asked if Amiga Cami has Instagram. So yeah, if you do, let us know. Anybody who wants to share one of their social medias in the comments can go ahead and do that. I don't mind if you do that. Bobby Wald says Robot Chicken needs to do the skit of Maury revealing that Man-at-Arms is not the father. Yeah, well, he's admitted that on the original cartoon. That's why I'm pretty firmly against people saying they want for Man-at-Arms to be like her biological dad. I'm like, nope, he already told her he's not, and he wouldn't lie about something like that. So that's one thing in Revelation/Revolution that I actually very much disagreed with. I'm not of that opinion, and I kind of feel like I kind of like the idea that he's her adoptive father, and I like adoptive parents and children in storylines, and I like the idea that a parent can adopt a child, and that's just as much their child as a biological child would be. So it doesn't really matter if biologically he's her mother or is her father, or she's his daughter or whatever. It just matters that they love each other and they take care of each other and they look after each other. And that's pretty much it. So Al Davis says, and Skellumberger Tour 2. Yeah, Lumberg Skeletor. That's the one that I actually wanted the most. And that was the one where it seemed like it would be kind of difficult for me to make a custom. But Jim Bro Skeletor seems like he'd be easy. So I'd really just have to make him a hoodie and kind of redo his boots a little bit, I think. So here she is holding her staff. And you can see she only really has one hand to hold the staff with because she's got this spell casting hand on the other hand. But you can still kind of get it posed where it looks like she's holding it in a double-handed pose. But since it is kind of heavy, I guess it's kind of a little trickier than it probably should be. But there she is holding the staff. And like I said, unfortunately, she doesn't have a sword. I wish she had a sword, but there is no sword. That is too bad. Bobby Wall says, I'm thinking Cobra Khan is her father. Well, what Man-at-Arms said on the Filmation cartoon is that her father was one of Eternia's greatest warriors and one of the greatest men he ever knew, and gave his life for Eternia. And I have my own theories as to who Teela's real father is. But the idea of Cobra Khan, that's interesting. That's interesting. What if the sacrifice of Teela's father was not sacrificing his life? What if it was, he managed to save Eternia, but it wound up turning him into a monster as well? What if the good man that was once her father was destroyed and entirely replaced by an evil snake man? How about that? So Lone Dragon says, I noticed how you chose not to read the comment where I revealed he's an animatronic. Well, I like I said, I think I was pretty sure I'd missed something. It must have just scrolled past really fast. So I'll try to find it. Yeah, I read your comment on Jimbro Skeletor. Well, I don't think I saw that one. I don't think I see it right now. I see where you called Al Davis a robot, and Robot Chicken, yeah. And you asked Cammy if she had Instagram, and she still hasn't answered us yet. She's holding out on us. Yeah, I don't see the comment where you reveal somebody's an animatronic. I'm looking for it too. Oh, here it is. I found it. He doesn't even have legs. If he stands up, there'll just be a steel robot arm holding it up like he's an amusement park animatronic. Well, sometimes when I do these, I'm just wearing shorts, and nobody wants to see that. So, and nobody gets free foot pics. So you're just going to have to imagine the robot arm. That's... And Al Davis says, shh, Dragon, animatronics don't know that they're animatronics. Yeah, don't spoil the surprise for me. And Al Davis says it's a good message and has heart and sentiment without falling into sentimental trite levels. Yes, indeed, actually. And then says, Dragon, I noticed that too. You think he has spider legs, a spider legs version of legs like Kenneth Branagh in Wild Wild West, mini version, obviously. If I was gonna be like Dr. Lovelace, I would much rather be like the TV version of Michael, or of Dr. Lovelace, Michael Dunn, who also is on one of my least favorite episodes of the original Star Trek, but he is the best part of that episode and makes it worth watching. I will watch that episode just to see Michael Dunn. Also, that's the episode where Kirk kissed Uhura, so it does have some historical significance, but it's really not that good of an episode, if we're being honest. What was the name of that one? Plato's Stepchildren. That's what it was. Plato's Stepchildren. Yeah. And then Al Davis says, no, he's just mounted to the ground in the room. He only connects for life. You guys have seen me get up before. That's the crazy thing. You guys have both seen me get up on multiple occasions. So let's go ahead and talk about the articulation some. Teela can't look up very far, which is surprising to me because she's got long hair, but it's a ponytail, so it shouldn't really get in the way. But that's about as far up as she can look. She can look down about that far. She can tilt her head kind of from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. Of course, the arms rotate all around the shoulders, and they're going to bump into those teal shoulder pads I was talking about. Teela's arms can raise up to the sides about that far. Lone Dragon says they have a guy who comes in and changes his shirt and vacuums his beard. Well, that guy should do a better job. I'm just saying. Teela's elbow can bend about that far, and then that rotates all the way around. And then she's got wrist articulation that rotates all the way around and has a horizontal hinge on her right wrist that moves back and forth like so, and a horizontal hinge on the left wrist that moves back and forth like so. And I'm guessing this is the same spellcasting hand that Eva Lynn has. And Teela at this point in the show doesn't really do magic, I don't think. But, that doesn't mean a kid can't pretend she's doing some magic. And there's a cool magic doing pose. How about that? And then she twists all the way around the waist. Teela can kick up about that far. I think she could probably kick up a little bit further if not for this skirt. So let's get the skirt out of the way. Combs wax into the eyebrows with a small brush. Yeah, maybe. Edit the video with AI. Well, why wouldn't I just make the whole video with AI then? Honestly, why even bother with an animatronic? Bobby Wald says the newer Orco is a bit smaller than the Origins if you have thought of 3D printing a baseball cap and changing the O to a Y to make yuckers. Oh, God, would I want a figure of yuckers? Really? Ugh. I was thinking about doing Duriel, but I have files to just entirely 3D print a Duriel. So maybe sometime in the future. Yeah, if I take the skirt off of her, she can kick up about that far. And she can do the splits no problem. The skirt does seem to kind of hinder her leg movement quite a bit. It's kind of a thick, it's still the rubbery plastic, but it's thicker than it usually is. I'm going to put her back together now. And then she's got a single joint of articulation at the knee. That rotates all the way around. And then the shin rotates all the way around. She's got a boot cut. And her foot points down that far. Her foot points up that far. And then that rotates all the way around. So, and then Al Davis says he had nothing to do with the AI. And Lone Dragon says, I want Uncle Montork. Well, the good news is that the cartoon collection Filmation actually does have the parts to make Uncle Montork, and you can see me talking about that in the video. By the way, I did find an extra Orco at Ross the other day, so now I have an extra Orco that I'm just going to permanently leave as Uncle Montork. So Al Davis says, fine, I filmed myself wearing a green t-shirt and filmed myself standing up, then used After Effects to switch my lower half to a freeze frame of Alan's top half, then animated it badly. Well, it's a lot of work to go through. And Lone Dragon says, and a Madame Raz, I'll have them date. Well, there's an interesting ship, isn't it? So let's see. What else is there to talk about this figure? I really like this figure, and I could see somebody making it their default Teela figure, although I don't know if I would. She's definitely like a solid 2000X Teela, but I'm a little more old school in how I like my Teela to be, and I would probably prefer that she was wearing the more traditional costume than this one, even though I feel like this is a decent enough translation of the traditional costume. I think it works fine, especially for the show. But for me personally, I think that my default Origins Teela is probably going to remain as the Filmation version. I think that's the one that I like best of all the Origins Teelas that they've done so far. But you know, they still haven't put out that Camila Mendez movie Teela figure yet for Origins. And I might try to see if I can swap out the head. I think that might be interesting to see. I think the skin color should match up pretty well with Camila Mendez. So we'll just have to see. Lone Dragon says, I can't decide if Broom is jealous or relieved, or you know, maybe he's sitting over in the cuck chair. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe Montork sits over the cuck chair. Maybe they take turns. Maybe even Madame Raz spends a little time in the cuck chair. You know, I mean, like, I don't know. They're turning at people. They can be kind of kinky sometimes. Amiga Cami says, I had a hard time finding this figure without too many paint apps or blemishes. Yeah, and that seems like that was a major problem for Evil Lynn. But thankfully, the one I got, she seems like she's relatively flawless. I don't really see any major problems with her. I know I saw a lot of Evil Lynn figures from the 2000X cartoon collection that were really sloppy, but thankfully mine seems to be rather well made. So it would be nice if she was like kind of like the more the skin color of like some of the other Teelas, so I can mix and match the parts a little bit more. But I don't know. I kind of wonder how it might work to take this top off and put the Filmation top on there now that I'm thinking about it. That might be an interesting look. See if we can mix and match some of the parts that way, since the part does come off. And then Al Davis says she's still got a sexiness factor that the new lady superheroes definitely don't have. They're covered from neck to wrists and sometimes wear gloves too. So just their head is on display. Yeah, people tend to be kind of prudish with the superhero designs nowadays, unfortunately. And I kind of want to go back to the days where like a girl can show a little skin if she wants to. Power Girl is like one of my favorite characters, and I like that costume. And it's just one of those things. I don't know why we're so scared of women's thighs nowadays. It's not the 1800s, you know. My one issue with her costume in the movie was like I kind of wish that she had just had shorts instead of those long pants, and I think that would have looked better. But that's really more of a nitpick than anything else. I didn't really mind the design of the costume so much, and that was just kind of like something where I'm like, it could have been better. You know what I mean? They could have done a better job with it, but oh well, whatever. Al Davis says, I thought you were going to do a live T-shirt switch. Well, no, because then I'd have to take off my shirt, and some people might be offended by that. Some people might be excited by that. I already got some weirdo trying to make like porn to me on the internet, so we don't need any more of that, do we? No, we don't. Oh my God, an ankle, says Al Davis. Oh, heavens, oh my stars. Yes, exactly. Amiga Cami says that she loves the sculpt of the thighs on this figure, and I gotta agree. Like, I really like this. I've seen this, on other figures before, where it's a little more toned, a little more athletic looking, and it still looks nice and feminine. It doesn't look like too masculine or anything like that, but they do look powerful and athletic, and yeah, she does have kind of a sexy look to her, even if it's a little more it's wholesome enough to be a child's action figure, but it's enough that like the little boy or even some little girls playing with her might get a little bit of a crush on her, and who can blame them? So and then Al Davis says, I thought you would already be wearing another shirt under that T-shirt, like T-shirtception. Yeah, I found this shirt at the Goodwill, and see it's Skyline Chili, and I am a big fan of chili, so I thought it was a good shirt for me. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it for Teela. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please make sure you give it a like and subscribe and all the other fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about this figure. And next figure, I think I'll go ahead and open up the cartoon collection version of Orko, the 2000X cartoon collection figure of Orko. I figure I might as well just go along the order that they're going on the back of the package here, and Merman will be the third and final of these. But it's not the third and final of Master Universe 2000X cartoon collection in general, because I've got one more. I've got Web Store. So I'll be opening up Web Store sometime within the next few episodes. So Orko, then Merman, then Web Store. That's how we're going to do this. And then I've got a bunch of movie origins figures. I've got Man-at-Arms, and I've got Triclops, and I've got the 2-pack of Ram Man and Moss Man. So we'll open those up. Should be fun. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye.